Gene, you guys value Eric Smith a lot. He plays a whole lot for you guys. What really stands out about him to you? What makes him particularly valuable?
Well, we challenged him a couple of weeks ago as well. And a couple of weeks ago, I didn't feel like he was playing it near up to the potential that he should be. And we challenged him a couple of weeks ago, and I think I've seen a significant change in the way he's played. You know, he shows up. You know, if his job is to cover kicks on special teams, which that's one of his jobs, he needs to show up. Well, he has. I don't know that I can say that, you know, necessarily a month ago, near as much as you're seeing him now. And offensively, the same thing. You know, I like him because he does dirty work, and he knows that's his job. And it's not always glamorous or glorious, but it's what we have to do to be successful, you know, offensively, with what his role is in our run game and in our protections, you know. So proud of where he's come in the last month. He needs to continue on that path, but he's one of those guys that, you know, his role is kind of unsung, you know, kind of the unheralded guy, but what he brings to the table when he's playing well is huge.
Do you feel like he was taking plays off, or not quite getting
I just don't feel like he was as physical as he needed to be. I don't feel like, you know, I just didn't feel like he was playing up to some of the potential that he had the year before, comparatively speaking. And, you know, since then, I think that's improved.
Coach, can you talk about the challenges some of the guys on the defensive line are going to face this week? Obviously, Ole Miss only giving up 7 sacks this year. What are some of the challenges and the things you guys are going to try to implement to try and generate a pass rush?
The first challenge is number 8. That's the first challenge, and one of the reasons they don't have many sacks is because, number one, his offensive line does a very nice job of protecting him. But at, you know, any sight of trouble, you know, he'll take the ball on the perimeter because he can. So that's problematic for your pass rush. Obviously, if he's, you know, if he's scrambling back there and buying an extra 2 or 3 seconds, which becomes then problematic for your secondary and your linebackers to stay in coverage. So that's a huge challenge. And we're going to have to work really hard this week at making sure we, you know, we're on a, you know, we're in our lanes. If somebody's out of our lane, then we're replacing them with somebody else. But we're doing our best to pull him up and, you know, try to take away some of what we call these windows that he's able to create for himself where he can see. And that's going to require some push up the middle and, you know, trying to, you know, contain him on the perimeter with our ends. And that's a tall order because he's really good at it. And again, you know, they're averaging 410 yards of offense a game. And a lot of it's largely due to what he brings, you know, like I said earlier, you know, with his perimeter scramble ability and what he does in the run game.
Are you able to enjoy this moment? Because it doesn't happen often.
I enjoy every day I come here. Today's no different to me than a month ago, not one bit. I did the same things this morning I did 1 month ago. I'll do the same things this afternoon I did 8 weeks ago. I'll do the same thing tonight I did 7 weeks ago. I'm just blessed to be able to get up every day and come to work here. So, but other than that, nothing's changed.
Coach, is it somewhat comforting, though? I know you don't pay attention to the rankings, but to be in the #1 spot after what you experienced in 2004 and not being able to break into those top 2?
Having given it a lot of thought, to be honest with you.
So then I have one more. Sorry. Can you just talk about your charitable contributions and your involvement in the community and how you approach that and not kind of getting too much attention for it, all the things that you do?
Well, number one, I don't think you do things for other people, for the community, or anybody else to get attention for it. Number one, that's not why we do it. But it's very important because I'm so blessed in my life that whenever I have a chance to give something back to whoever, whenever, that's part of what I do. That's part of what we do. That's part of what we should do. That's part of our job. So when we can do that, you know, we do it. And, you know, we don't do it for any other reason other than the fact that we can and we should.
Brennan Bolden has obviously doesn't get as many carries. Some guys probably because of his only and running quarterback. But how's he look to you? And is he set up there with the
Really good. He's broken some really good runs this year. You know, he's very physical. He's a big guy, and he's a very physical running back. And I think he's made some really, really nice runs. Both, you know, some shorter runs that are very physical runs, and he's broken some, you know, to get to the second level of the defense and scored on some big plays too. Does a really nice job on reading the inside zone and making different cuts off the inside zone. That's a big play for him that he's, you know, to me he's exceptionally good at running, and but he's a really good tailback.
And how tough is it week in, week out to prepare for these SEC running games? Arkansas is pretty heavy focus.
It's what you get in the league. It's tough it's tough every week. It's not just the running game. I mean, these are great offenses in this league. And, you know, we've talked about it before that the production of all these offenses in the league is up. And you got great coaches out there you're playing against every week that got great ideas on exactly what they're doing and how to take advantage of defenses, and you got some great players to go along with that. So those two things combined, you know, you got a great challenge every week, you know, trying to stop, you know, these different offenses every week in this league, it seems like.
Can you talk about Cam's progression? I mean, as a quarterback from game one to where he is now, and I mean, has it been just steady every week, or has it been a game where he took a step back? Or?
I think it's been very steady. I really do, and you know, I think everybody's got to be mindful that, you know, he's been in this offense 8 games, so you hope that there's a steady progression every week. It doesn't mean that, again, there's not things in there we wish we could take back, you know, here and there. But I don't think we could be more pleased with, in terms of, you know, every week, as I've said before, us figuring out where we can go next and where he is allowing us to go next. I don't think there's any question there's been a steady improvement there.
You talked before about how he raises the level of play of the other guys on the field. I know he does a lot of that just through his effort, but how good of a job does he do in terms of being a coach on the field?
I think he's really made significant strides in being, you know, the true leader of the offense, because that's really what you're asking. You know, that's what you're asking. You're asking what kind of leader is he out there, and he's kind of like his game has evolved week by week. It's gotten better and better, and leadership's an action. It's not a position. You know, and so I think by his actions, in my opinion, his leadership with our football team is pretty much out there for everybody to see in terms of players on our team. They see it, and he does it by action because of his effort and his competitiveness and his stick-to-itness and all those things that it takes to be a good quarterback. So I think everybody sees that.
Any other questions?